Hello, and welcome to Japanese Classic Car Show's World Matsuri Week. I'm Patrick Strong, Master of Ceremonies for JCCS, coming to you from Marina Green Park in beautiful Long Beach, California. And in an ordinary year, I would be standing on a stage right over there presenting the show in person. But as you know, 2020 is anything but an ordinary year. The global pandemic has caused us to rethink the way we engage as car enthusiasts. And for JCCS, that means moving to a digital format for 2020. We've reached out to Kyusha owners from all over the world who might not otherwise have been able to bring their cars here to Long Beach to show in person, to instead submit them through our digital platform. All this week, we'll be bringing you a look at some of our favorites. This culminates on Saturday, October 10th, when we bring you Japanese Classic Car Show online, where we'll present our Kyusha Workmanship and Presentation Awards, as well as some awards from our media partners. So, let's kick off World Matsuri Week with our favorite cars from the 60s and earlier, as well as a few bonus cars from the 1970s. Ready? Here we go. From Japan, welcome Makoto Dohi's 1965 Toyota Sports 800. This race-prepared Sports 800 can be found competing on the JCCA vintage circuit and was recently a class winner at Tsukuba. Also from Japan, Shunichi Kasai brings us his 1967 Toyota 2000 GT. Considered by many to be one of the most significant Japanese cars ever made, only 351 examples of the 2000 GT were produced, making it a coveted classic for collectors around the world. Next up is Nicholas Mack's Project in Progress 1967 and a half Datsun Fairlady 1600 Roadster from Santa Ana, California. That half-year model designation is very important, as these rare cars blend desirable features from the 1967 model, such as low windshield and flat dash, with the 1968 model's flared fenders and dual master cylinders. Masaru Takeda's 1967 Mazda Cosmo Sport is an original survivor, located in its native Japan. Masaru has added a few drivability updates, including a modern cooling system, to make commuting in Yamanashi a bit more pleasurable experience. From Costa Mesa, California, Max Gochman brings us his period-modified 1967 Datsun Fairlady Roadster, which he has dubbed Fairlady Sif. Max describes his car as a period-correct outlaw, which he has lightened by 100 pounds to maximize driving enjoyment on the California coast. Merlin Blackwell's 1964 Nissan Cedric 1900 comes to us from British Columbia, Canada. This rare Cedric is an original Canadian market car and is a bit of an automotive celebrity. Recently, it was featured in several episodes of the Amazon dramatic series The Man in the High Castle. If one classic Nissan is good, then two are better. Merlin Blackwell also presents his 1957 Nissan Patrol four-wheel drive pickup. Merlin reports that this is the only known surviving example of this variant of the 4W61 Patrol in the world, and that restoration is currently underway. This early sports utility vehicle has a fascinating history, including possibly having been lost in a poker game in the 1970s. From New York City, please welcome Steve Tetrio's 1967 Datsun Sports 2000 Roadster. This early production SRL is being shown for the first time at JCCS this year, and we're happy that our online format is giving Steve the chance to share his car with the world. Here's Nobuya Matsuda's 1971 Mazda Cosmosport. Nobuya is a long-term owner of this later long-wheelbase Cosmosport, which must make quite an impression in his hometown of Tsuyama, Japan. We'll have more cars from the 1960s and earlier after a word from our sponsor, Cabe Toyota. Cabe Toyota of Long Beach has supported JCCS since our very first show in 2005. They've been serving drivers from Lakewood, Carson, and beyond since 1966. They know you expect a lot from your Toyota dealership, and they are ready to deliver. Whether you're in the market for a new or used Toyota, need service for your vehicle, or are in search of that hard-to-find part, they've got you covered. The owner, Mr. John Cabe, is himself an old-school Toyota truck guy. He has owned many Land Cruisers and Toyota pickups in his lifetime. Check out Cabe Toyota's 3rd-gen Supra and 1966 Stout pickup. And now, back to the cars of the 1960s and earlier. Texas is synonymous with pickup trucks, but even in the Lone Star State, Dan Zubkoff's 1947 Datsun 2224 is something special. One of the first Datsuns produced after World War II, Dan's 2224 is one of only a tiny handful of these wood-framed, metal-skinned trucks to survive. Congrats, Dan, on having the oldest vehicle entered in JCCS this year.
You are viewing Dan's 1947 Datsun pickup truck. After World War II, the Japanese auto industry was decimated. Japan, under the occupation of Allied forces, was allowed to start building a limited number of vehicles in late 1946. This Datsun truck, Model 2224, was one of the first Nissans built after the war. Constructed in February 1947, the vehicle utilized a chassis designed in the 1930s with a simplistic cab constructed from wood and skinned in metal. This utilitarian design featured antiquated components, including semaphores instead of turn signals and a lever-based clutch and braking system. As this truck was made in such limited numbers, it is one of the few to survive. The truck is really tiny, with a length of about only 10 feet. Rumor has it, the truck was used originally to haul rocks in a mountainous region in Japan. Without a sophisticated road system, the small narrow truck worked well in its homeland. Nowadays, the truck is a fun little leisure driver, enjoying cruising around the back roads of Texas.
With a very different take on the pickup truck theme, here's Katsuyuki Maehara's 1968 Toyota Crown utility pickup. Katsuyuki sends us his resto-modded Crown pickup all the way from Tokyo and is showing his car at JCCS for the first time this year. Speaking of Crowns, Janet Fujimoto's resto mod 1970 Toyota Crown sedan is a familiar sight on the Southern California show circuit, including 3 previous visits to JCCS. Though largely stock appearing, this hand-built, frame-off restored Crown from Torrance, California is stuffed with a 2JZ power plant and a plethora of other custom goodies. From San Diego, California, we welcome Edgar Sierra's 1970 Datsun Fairlady Roadster. Entered in the period style category, Edgar's Roadster features several personal touches for a clean, classic look. With another drop-top Datsun, here's Eric Hansen's 1968-2000 Roadster. Based in Upland, California, Eric is the 3rd owner of this period-style Roadster, which he acquired from the 2nd owner after a failed attempt to swap its engine into a 521 pickup. I guess you'd say this tragic backstory has a happy ending. All the way from Australia, we present Karen Hamer's 1965 Prince Skyline GTB. The Skyline nameplate is nearly as significant in the land of Oz as it is in the car's native Japan, And although Karen's creatively modified, engine-swapped Prince predates the Nissan racers that would make the Skyline a legend in Australia, it's nonetheless a fitting tribute to this historic mark. Think of it as Godzilla's grandfather. From Roanoke, Virginia, please welcome David Rake's 1969 Toyopet Corona Deluxe. An original survivor car, this JDM Corona has been in David's care for less than 1 year, and it must be a delight to drive on the byways of the Blue Ridge Mountains. David is showing his Corona for the first time at JCCS this year. Next, we have not one, but two Toyota Sports 800s, entered by Yasunari Sugiyama of Kanagawa, Japan. The head of the Toyota Sport 800 Owners Committee, Sugiyama-san has an obvious passion for these nostalgic sports cars. His 1966 model is creatively modified, while his first year 1965 is mostly stock and underwent a complete restoration in 2015. Our final car of the 1960s is an historic 1967 Honda S800 Coupe. This unrestored survivor car comes to us courtesy of the American Honda Collection in Torrance, California. Stay tuned for a selection of bonus cars from the 1970s after this inside look at JCCS sponsor Mooneyes. Ever since Mooneyes of Japan began operations, CEO Shige Suganuma has believed in this philosophy: customize an affordable used car into a cool car with a touch of American taste. Mooneyes organizes two major custom car shows in Japan every year, Street Car Nationals and All Odds Nationals, and this cool car philosophy is definitely reflected at both shows. Mooneyes customizes all kinds of cars, from American cars and VWs to Japanese cars, mini trucks, and vans, such as vintage Toyota Crown, Mitsubishi Debonair, and Toyota Celica. A Toyota Prius was chosen this year because now it's quite affordable. Using Mooneyes' signature yellow color, this Prius is finished in candy gold, which changes color when viewed from different angles. Pinstriping by Windman adds a slick, classically American look. Mooneyes also painted their Prius's plastic parts, such as wiper cowl, pillar trim, and rear bumper bottom in matte black, giving the car a fresh, sharp look. Perhaps the coolest thing about this Prius is its torque-thrust wheels by American Racing. It's no easy task to fit wide rims on a front-wheel drive car like the Prius, but Mooneyes accomplished it perfectly. Custom car trends now tend to favor JDM and Bosozoku style, though American hot rod style can represent a refreshing back-to-basics approach. However, there's no doubt that Mooneyes' stance-style Prius is a perfect fit at JCCS.
Hello, my name is Louis from the Moon Garage. Today, I am proud to introduce you to the Moonlight controller that is being developed here in the Moon Garage. It can be adapted to many types of vehicles. People with newer luxury cars may be familiar with this common feature. This unit will take full control of your headlights. No need to worry when you go into a tunnel or dark lit area. With the flick of a switch, you regain original lighting features. Also, if you forget to push in the light control from manual control, the computer will automatically shut all lights off when the car is shut down. The sensor on the controller can measure the amount of light directly in front of the driver, which will flip the lights on or off. All software and hardware is being developed under the roof of the Moon Garage. Support and features can be discussed in-house with confidence. The Moonlight module is still in development, but for inquiries or more details, please contact the Moon Garage. Expect great experiences from your car with Moon products.
And now, here are our Day 1 bonus cars from the 1970s. From Vacaville, California, here's Raymond Francisco's 1974 Toyota Celica, sporting a JDM GTV look. Making its second appearance at JCCS, Raymond Celica is powered by an 18RG boasting SK Racing carbs. Next up is Francis Jones' 1973 Toyota Sprinter Trueno, coming to us from Laguna Hills, California. This TE27 Sprinter Trueno is a true original JDM car with light modifications. Being shown at JCCS for the first time is the 1977 Toyota Corolla of Keone Diacamos. An in-progress project, this highly original Corolla makes its home in Medford, Oregon. From Atlantic Beach, Florida, here's Pablo Zapata's 1975 Toyota Corolla. Pablo has owned this Corolla for over 2 decades and has modified his car with a host of personal touches. Ken Nunn's Rocklin, California-based 1970 Datsun 240Z appears to be modified in a straightforward period style, but under the hood is a secret weapon, a turbocharged Toyota 2JZ power plant. Hailing from Torrance, California, Miki Matsuoka's 1971 Datsun 240Z is a highly tuned resto mod featuring an L28 engine and a host of track-ready enhancements. Also from Torrance is Kunio Imaizumi's creatively modified 1970 240Z, which features a G-nose and an L28 punched out to 3.1 liters. Warren Jones brings us his 1968 Datsun 510 from West Hills, California. This resto-modded 510 features a triple S spec L18 engine. From Azusa, California, here's Big Mike Mooneyes' 1973 Toyota TE27 Corolla Rally. This fully race-prepared Corolla has been certified by the FIA for historic rally competition.
Hello everyone, I'm Big Mike Mooneyes and welcome to my garage. What you are looking at here is my 1973 Toyota TE27 Corolla Van rally car. This is a certified FIA Group N rally car, and what makes this thing really special is what's under the hood. This is a very rare TRD race engine called the 152E. It's a 2.2 liter. This one came out of a IMSA GTU Celica that was campaigned back in the 80s. Puts out 310 horsepower to the flywheel. The slide injectors have been replaced with carburation. It's a lot easier to tune, and it's a lot better for rallying. Let's check out the interior. OMP WRCR rally seats with 6-point harness, and of course period correct rally computer by TRD and by Jeco. Well, let's take this thing for a little spin.
From Pleasant Hill, California, please welcome Ryan Panlilio's Resto Mod 1974 Toyota Celica. Ryan Celica is making its second appearance at JCCS this year. Paul Ajari of Fullerton, California has owned his Datsun 240Z for over 20 years. Largely a stock original car, Paul Z is being shown at JCCS for the second time. Though red in color and not yellow, Masakotani's 1971 Datsun 240Z was heavily influenced by the famous G-nosed Z of Mr. K. Masa and his creatively modified Z called Torrance, California home. From Soquel, California, here's Mike Chapman's Resto Mod 1971 Datsun 240Z. Mike has owned this car for over 2 decades. Ed Boggy Dizan brings us his Resto Modded 1972 Toyota Celica GT from Concord, California. Born in RA21, Ed fully restored and revised this Celica to TA22 specification. And now it's time for Kyusha Trivia, brought to you by Japanese Nostalgic Car. Japanese Nostalgic Car is the premier English language site for classic Japanese cars, and each day during World Matsuri Week, they'll be bringing you a trivia question to test your Kyusha knowledge. If you answer correctly, you'll be entered into a daily drawing for a sticker set from JNC and JCCS. To submit your answer, go to JapaneseNostalgicCar.com and click the JCCS 2020 link. And now, here's today's Kyusha Trivia question. Today's question is sponsored by Toyota USA. Which generation Toyota Crown was nicknamed Cannon Crown? A. S30, B. S40, C. S50, or D. S60? Go to JapaneseNostalgicCar.com to submit your answer. Good luck! Join us tomorrow for day 2 of World Matsuri Week as we take a look at some outstanding cars from the 1970s. Until then, I'm Patrick Strong from Japanese Classic Car Show. Thanks for joining us.